Welcome to Beating Cancer Daily. Beating stage 4 cancer for 30 years still takes my breath away every time I say it. I'm Saranne, founder of the Comedy Cures Foundation, and I hope you'll join me for just a few minutes daily for the next 365 days so we may laugh, learn, maybe cry a little as we live our best days beating cancer daily together. Do you play the blame game? I love this topic because you have to admit, once in a while, blaming somebody else feels good, but it's not that mature and it's temporary. It doesn't last. Or maybe you've made a lifetime out of just blaming everyone for everything. Then this is a really good episode because I found really good humor about looking at blame. And I didn't write this, but I have to share it with you. It says, to err is human. To blame someone shows management potential. I thought that was so clever, honestly. So the reason why I wanted to do this episode on blame is because someone actually gave me a really powerful book looking at blame. And then I started to think about my own life, my own cancer, my own relationships, my own work culture, and tried to gauge, where am I in the blame game? Am I way in deep? Have I matured? Have I figured out ways to take that accountability and not blame others? I can tell you, going through a cancer diagnosis, there's this moment where you can not only blame yourself, but you can blame so many people around us. Right? Was it my parents' fault? They gave me the wrong genes. They didn't feed me right. They were mean. They were abusive. I had toxic relationships. I had bad teachers. I had bad doctors. I mean, there's so many reasons to start throwing blame in every direction. And I know it's because we're emotional and we're freaked out and we're scared. But I think one of the reasons why I handled my cancer diagnosis so was that I passed through blame almost instantaneously. And I got to, wow, I have to figure out how to let blame and anger and depression and resentment and regrets go because my life depends on it. Think about that. What would it feel like to write out all of the disappointments, all of the regret, all of the pain and depression and frustration and rage that we've had in life, and make a conscious decision to let it go? You can write it down and then burn it, safely burn it. We don't want you to catch your apartment on fire, your house on fire. Or you could flush it down the toilet, or you can rip it into tiny pieces and bury it. But I realized that I couldn't process everything I needed to go through with my cancer diagnosis if I carried the weight of all of that with me. Now, you may say, no, Saranne, I need that to fuel me to get better. Everybody has their own strategies. I'm just saying that the research on blame is pretty compelling. And if you can figure out a way to let go of all of that toxicity, your body can stand a better chance at recovering and healing. It's not weighing us down. It's not filling our heads and distracting us from what our job is now, and that is to heal. A friend of mine and an incredible life coach that I've mentioned on Beating Cancer Daily before, Ed Bulkey, he recommended this book, and it's called Beyond Blame, A Full Responsibility Approach to Life. And the book is by Yehuda Berg, who has a whole series of books. This is such a tiny book. It's a tiny book. I even think it could be out of print and I got a used edition. It didn't matter because the wisdom in this book is really profound. And the first step of getting beyond blame, according to Yehuda Berg, is letting go, releasing pain and suffering. Now, I did that instinctively when I was diagnosed with cancer. I realized that I had to just let go. Now, if you're in an abusive relationship or a physically damaging relationship, whether that's spousal partner or from a different generation, this is not the time to be sitting here reading this book. You need to get professional help from a hotline, from a source, whether it's paid or it's a free social service. This is really important that you take care of yourself and you're safe. I'm talking about everyday life circumstances that don't involve your safety. If this is a past incident that's that dramatic with physical, verbal, financial abuse, you may still want to immediately involve a therapist to start dealing with some of these pains and life situations that just are hard. There's no shame in getting a therapist involved. But I just want to walk you through what I did and what the book recommends. And after this process of really consciously trying to let go, and I have lots of episodes on Beating Cancer Daily, how you can process letting go of toxic people, toxic memories, filling your life with joy. So I'm just doing an overview right now, and I want you to go back and search the many episodes to find ones that really resonate with you that you're ready to do to help you with letting go. But the next major tenet of this book is accountability. And Yehuda takes a very bold step and says, no more victim. Stop reactive consciousness and reactive behavior. Now, it's hard when you've been through something super painful to not be the victim and not feel like a victim and not live with a victim mentality because you're hurt, you've been wronged, you've been pained. But in this book, they say you are really the creator of everything about your existence, including your healing, including the things that have been brought into your life that could have caused you pain. And you just really saying that, okay, this happened, and you have to take accountability that in some way this is part of your life, your story. And instead of being a victim, look at how can you learn from this? What can you do to see ways that you can become a better person, ways that you can help other people who've been faced with this? And that's a big pill to swallow. Accountability. Can you actually take responsibility for your life from this moment forward and approach it without being reactive and without being a victim, no matter what's happened to you in the past? Can you reset? Can you start anew? Can you live a victim-free life where you are making every choice, choice by choice? No one is swaying you. No one is coercing you because you have a choice whether to be swayed or coerced. Pretty powerful. Are you ready for that step? You don't have to do this all in one day. The letting go piece is huge. And then the second step, the accountability step, is huge. But the third step is the secret sauce. The third step is Can you stop selfish behavior? Interesting. Are you even aware of your selfish behavior? I try to make a list of it. And when I behave in a selfish way, write it down and think about how can I not do that again? Interesting. Can you create a life where you stop being selfish and you start giving? And Yehuda Berg doesn't mean just give $1 or volunteer for a minute. It's restructuring your life to be a giving person, not a reactive person, not a victim, but somebody that gets up every day from morning until night with a giving consciousness, with a giving attitude, with a giving hand. And why is this the third part of this trilogy? Because the concept is that the only way you can have sustained infinite joy and sustained infinite happiness is if you no longer make yourself a victim, release your pain and suffering, and then you get up every day wanting to be a sharing part of the world. Can you imagine if everybody lived by this, how special our world would be? But it's hard. Think about it. This author is asking us to restrict and resist blame. Restrict and resist blame. It would be interesting to see how many times a day we blame. Just keep count. Or put one of the Comedy Cure's wristbands on your wrist or any wristband and switch it every time you blame someone, even yourself. Isn't that interesting? We blame ourselves too. And according to Yehuda Berg, that is one of the quickest ways to rob joy. Now, if you need to blame yourself only because it's helping you recognize a behavior you don't want to do anymore, and then you use that knowledge to correct your mistakes and to behave better, then there's a slight way to use blame in that way. But what happens if we stop blaming? Could we create the life we want without cancer? Could we have more space to create more joy, more happiness that's sustainable so that we're feeding all that positivity into our daily existence? It's compelling. And the author says that this is the closest way to becoming like the Creator. Whatever you believe the Creator is, that this light, this goodness, this sustained happiness and joy is the closest thing that we get to living in the light of the creation or the light of your Creator. It's interesting to think that we could have that power, that control, that blueprint. So a mantra that's stated in the book is we should say, I am powerful and in charge of my life. I am powerful and in charge of my life. Do you say anything like that? Is that an affirmation that you're repeating? I know that going through all that cancer treatment, it can make you feel very destabilized, not powerful, not in control of your life. But that's why we have so many episodes of Beating Cancer Daily, because these are all strategies to help us feel more empowered. And the 2 research studies that I did with the Comedy Cures Foundation show that this is teachable in 8 weeks. No matter which country of the 10 countries that we took advanced cancer patients through this process, or the many states, 20 plus states of patients that came into these studies, we showed that you could really teach this, that this is a discipline and a practice, but you have to start somewhere. And the first place you start is that you stop blaming, even though there is some satisfaction in blaming. And then I'll state it one more time. You let go, release pain and suffering. Then you become accountable for your own actions in your own life. No more victim, no matter what has transpired in your past, and that you stop reactive and conscious behavior. And then you share yourself. You stop selfish behavior and you give. And that's how you find the ultimate happiness and joy. It's actually not in receiving, the studies show. It's in paying it forward. It's in giving. And what this author summarizes to say is that when you live this kind of strategy and this kind of life, and I'll throw in humor because I think that experiencing laughter and joy with yourself and with other people actually creates such an incredible bond. That's not in his book. I just feel that way. That's why I started the Comedy Cures Foundation from my chemo chair and started bringing joy and humor and happiness and play and laughter to all my fellow patients that I came in contact with, and my medical team and my family through my cancer diagnosis. I really felt that was my unique superpower that I could do to give back. And I do many other things throughout the day to help so many people, including being dedicated to 365 days at least of this daily podcast. But the author says that if you live this strategy, you can access 99% more consciousness than you've ever experienced before. Now, I don't know how that's proven. That's just the premise of the book. But the premise is that when you're living in victimhood or selfishness, or you are not taking responsibility for your day or giving forward, that we basically access only 1% of the light and joy and happiness that's in the world. But when we live this strategy, we're getting 99%. Again, I don't see the statistics and the study in that scientifically, but I get it. I live it. And I know how elated I am every time I get done an episode of Beating Cancer Daily, and the joy that I feel when we share the impact of the episodes. Either you go to my website, comedycures.org, and you hit the contact menu and you tell me what's going on with you and how you're using these strategies, or go to the record button and leave me a message. Just connecting with you and hearing what you need and how this is improving your life and how you're using it and what you're struggling with, that really fuels me every day to just keep this commitment and think about every aspect of what I'm doing to improve the quality of my day and then improve the quality of everyone that I can reach, whether it's in person, in a hospital, or it's through media like this podcast. Oh man, I can't wait to hear what it's like for you to go through this process and do the aspects of this episode and this really compelling book called Beyond Blame, A Full Responsibility Approach to Life by Yehuda Berg. And thank you again to Ed Bogie for turning me on to this really beautifully written, succinct book. There are other concepts in it, but I just wanted to start with this one today because I felt that it's a lot to chew on, and we can revisit the book again another time. You know that I love fun t-shirts. And of course, I had to find one on blame. And 50% of my audience is going to hate this t-shirt, but I just thought it was funny. When in doubt, blame a man. Now, I don't really mean that because of everything we've just talked about, but oh my gosh, if I saw someone wearing that on the street, I would just crack up. When in doubt, blame a man. I bet if I wore that to breakfast, my husband would not appreciate it. But we get a good laugh, actually, because he has a good sense of humor. So don't blame a man. That's the whole point of this episode, not to blame. But it is a funny t-shirt. So have a blessed, blame-free day, and I'll see you tomorrow. If you loved today's episode, then tell the world. Why? Because Beating Cancer Daily is a listener and donor supported experience. So the more people you tell and the more people that join us, the more robust and interesting programs our nonprofit, the Comedy Cures Foundation, can bring to you throughout the year. So if you have some extra change, I'd love you to go to comedycures.org and make a donation today of whatever level is comfortable for you. And it will be tax deductible to the extent allowed by law, because Comedy Cures is a nonprofit 501c3 organization founded from my chemo chair, April 1999, and we've been going strong ever since. So please consider making a donation today and help our community and this podcast thrive. Guess what time it is? It's time for me to read the disclaimer. Beating Cancer Daily and the membership circle are not in lieu of medical advice or treatment. They are for entertainment purposes only. Please consult your healthcare team to review your best strategy. Thanks for listening. See you guys tomorrow.